Hi there, welcome to Island Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Libra energy. And we're going to see how different people are harnessing their Libra energy because everybody has free will. Some people harness high vibe Libra energy. They maintain balance within themselves. They, don't indulge in their more shadowy nature, which our shadow natures kind of our more worldly nature, which can be our more immature, indulgent, selfish, greedy, prideful, egotistical, self centered, whatever we think is just and fair. And it can be just as simple as people still struggling just with some of their own fears and insecurities, and it kind of throws them out of balance that way. And some people have learned to offset their fears and insecurities and whatever else their other issues might be out of love and respect for themselves. And they've learned to maintain balance within themselves, not get too caught up in their head or their fears or their more immature, indulgent nature or their more, shadowy Libra. Could also be people who think it's just and fair to make your life about indulgence, self centeredness, or money and materialism. We all do what we think is just and fair. So if you're cross watching for a Libra, we all harness some Libra energy because we all have to make decisions about what we think is just and fair in the world. You might find out you're the one who harnesses high vibe Libra energy in relation to some other people in your life. So let's go see. We got a lot of cards not showing themselves. The reason for the reading is the hostilities card, which reminds me of the Five of Swords card, which can be about what people's dreams are. It's Aquarius energy. And some people could have mental conflict about living their life differently than they've been living it. There's something about change that could cause them a lot of concern. People can have different dreams. Some people could have decided, I think it's just and fair to make my life about myself, or to make my life about money and materialism, like I said, or pride or ego, or their addictions, whatever. And other people have decided, I've changed. We either move forward in truth and love, or we could still, in our pride and ego, think we know best. And some people have changed, and some people haven't. Some people have seen life from a higher perspective, and some people haven't. We all kind of learn lessons to move forward in life differently, but we have to learn the lessons of our life experience up to that point in time. We have to see the truth that I need to look at life differently. I need to love and believe in myself. I need to treat other people the way I like to be treated. Otherwise, you know, are we going to let our worldly nature, our more egoic, fearful, indulgent, selfish, greedy nature run our life? Are we willing to think that there's more to life than that? Some people don't. So, what do we got here? Well, we have a card not showing itself. Then we have the Magician in the Mirror and the Appreciation card. Some people are under the illusion that if they're single or manipulate people who are single or abundant, that maybe that will be the solution to their anxiety. Some people have a problem seeing life from a higher perspective because it does require them to have a different perspective about life, have some hope and faith and belief and love, have some hope and faith and belief in themselves, to see that maybe there is more to being on this planet than indulgence or materialism or greed. That there's more, there's a higher purpose to being on this planet. So let's see what this card is. Happy family. Some people could have mental conflict about who they have been surrounding themselves with. If they find those people to be kind of manipulative and more worldly focused or ego focused, some people could want to be single because they have a lot of mental conflict about With the anxiety card, they could have a lot of anxiety about being in relationships with other people, because when you're in relationship with other people, you got to deal with them. And some people are like, I just get a lot of anxiety. People might have a lot of fears and insecurities, and those things bubble to the surface when they get in relationships with other people. Some people could have let go of a happy family because they thought they wanted to be single. Now some of those people could have a lot of anxiety because they could have had an energy about them of wanting to win at all costs. Other people could have let go of a family or people they were working together with because they found the people they were working with had a lot of mental conflict. You know, in more shadowy energy, this card can talk about people who kind of want to win at all costs and they don't care who they hurt. So some people could have become single from people like that. And then, they could be wanting and hoping and praying, because some of the people you could deal with in your life that are out of balance could be your children, your siblings, your parents, close friends. Let's go see what these two cards are. Attachment. And that attachment card shows someone taking off a mask, and it's also a feminine figure, which can just mean, can talk about people's emotional realm. Some people are used to operating from their ego because the masculines in tarot can talk about, how we present ourselves to the world, and we all present ourselves to the world in masculine energy. We can all present ourselves whatever way we want, and people don't maybe know the truth of who we are because that's our hidden realm, which is our emotional realm. So some people who do operate more from pride and ego, they could be more about indulging themselves. They could be more focused on money and materialism. They might not be people who want to take off their social mask and connect more in with their emotions and their intuition to guide them. And then we have blossoming abundance and anxiety. Some people who have a lot of mental conflict about loving themselves, believing in themselves, being authentic in the world, dealing with their own fears and insecurities, if they get in relationships with people who are aligned with their more loving nature, and if some of those people have in the Magician card and high vibe, that can mean about you kind of believe in yourself, you did some work within yourself to deal with your own emotional baggage, your fears, some of your insecurities, some of your past pain and heartbreak, so that you could move forward in life differently. It's kind of like just like passing grades in high school, I don't want to keep repeating the eighth grade. I don't want these same fears and insecurities. I want to shed some of these. I want to believe in myself to be ready to go like into high school. And, I'm going to do some work within myself. Again, this card reminds me of the Nine of Pentacles, which is Virgo energy. It's an emotional, or it's a female image in the tarot, which means some people did the work internally to deal with their own mental conflict. I am going to look at life from a higher perspective. I'm going to put things in perspective. I'm going to wrap my brain around this game of life that I deserve to take off my social mask. I deserve to love and believe in myself and believe in my dreams. And I'm going to deal with some of my fears and insecurities to change. The only person I can change is me. Probably in most cases, once we're adults, the only person who really holds us back in life is ourself. And so much of it, it has to do with just how we wrap our brain around this game of life, what we choose to think about ourselves, how we choose to think about the world, what we think is possible, what we think isn't possible. And if some people have a lot of mental conflict of doing that inner work within themselves, and if they get in relationship with people who have done that work, it's kind of like, you're ready to go out in the world differently. And again, if we equate it back to like being an eighth and then going into high school, you're willing to go out there and get a job. You're willing to, And then as you get older, to move out of your parents' house, to get an apartment, start taking more responsibility for your life. Well, it's kind of the same thing, just different as you get older. You know, People still have their own issues to deal with. And if they get in relationship with people who have done that work and they haven't done that work, it can cause them a lot of mental conflict and anxiety because for some reason they have a problem about doing that work within themselves. For some of them, it could mean that they would have to become more independent from their family, and they could have a lot of mental conflict about that, or become more independent of a friend group. The Ten of Cups can mean a lot of things that we thought would make us happy. It can even be the things that we like to indulge in the world that we thought made us happy. And our shadow nature is about being more codependent. Instead of doing the work within ourselves to reconcile ourselves with our own issues, our past pain and heartbreak, our self limiting beliefs, to take action in truth and love. And some people have been maybe living a lot of their life living more from ego, and they haven't done that inner work. So for them to believe in themselves and become more independent in the world, from friend groups, from their family, from the things that they've kind of indulged in to make them happy, that could cause them a lot of mental conflict. And some people don't want to become independent of other things and other people in their life because it maybe would require them to take action in truth. Because again, this card reminds me of the Five of Swords, and the five comes after the three and the four. And we either see the truth and we've reflected on the truth. What has me having mental conflict? What is it within me? Am I willing to see the truth about my own issues that I need to deal with? Am I willing to see my own issues that I have about detaching from other people in my life or the world in general and knowing my worth and value? Why do I conform to the world? Why do I make because the Five of Swords also is Aquarius energy, which could be about, I want to look like a shining star in the world. And some people haven't been living their life independently. They have been living their life more from ego. And it is all about, in their mind anyway, like having to conform to all these things in the world of what the world tells you, or in their mind what they think everybody would think about them, and thinking that they have to be this certain way in order for people to view them a certain way. Our shadow nature is also represented by the devil, and it's all the things that can limit us and restrict us and confine us and oppress us and enslave us. And we can either keep staying in it, and we can keep rejecting aligning with love, and we can keep creating an illusion that we're more stable and secure and grounded and mature than we are. And it's just kind of operating from ego. And it could be some people emotionally are really attached to the world, because the Nine of Pentacles, which is what this reminds me of, shadowy Virgo energy, is my long-term plan is to look like king of the world, to look like a shining star in the world. And that can be the most important thing to them, that to have people in their mind to think that people will look up and admire me, people will view me as very successful, or I want to be single, so because maybe they think they already look like they're very successful or think they're very attractive, and they think other people will want to be in a relationship with me. I don't have to do this work. I don't have to take off my mask. I don't have to detach from the things in my life that I'm attached to, that I don't want to give up. I don't have to grow and mature myself. I can keep staying in my anxiety, living my life the way I've lived it, being defensive and operating more from my emotionally defensive, either fearful nature, insecure nature, immature nature, selfish, greedy, prideful, emotionally defensive nature. And then I don't have to do any of that. I'll just not be in a relationship with some people who I might have been in a relationship, or people who did want me to grow to my full potential and see the truth and see life from a higher perspective and choose to treat other people the way I want to be treated. And some people are like, I have a lot of anxiety about doing that, because I would have to do this work within myself to love and believe in myself. I would have to look at life from a higher perspective. I would have to invest in myself emotionally so I'm not codependent on other people or other things or the world for my sense of worth and value. I determine my worth and value. I'm going to treat people with love and respect and kindness. And, if that's not good enough for people, then I'm not sure if I really care about what their opinion is. But, some people are all about, they can't live their life authentically. And that's kind of what living from our shadow nature is. It's not showing people that we're wearing a false front, wearing a mask, you know, is the Nine of Pentacles is about kind of maybe having that outward leeway to the world that seems really abundant. Like, I think I'm good looking. I think there's people who'll get in a relationship with me. I could be very successful. I think there's other people who'll be in a relationship with me. I don't have to do this work within myself to grow and mature myself. And some people, if they were in relationships with people who did do that work, it could have caused them a lot of stress and anxiety because they could view you as a very loving, nurturing, abundant, shining person. And they could be someone who has a lot of fears of insecurities of other people wanting to be in a relationship with you. And because of their own fear and insecurity, they sabotage the whole relationship. And they maybe lack confidence in themselves. Well, until they win that battle within themselves and learn to invest in having a more, kind of like loving and appreciating themselves and valuing themselves so they have a strong foundation within themselves, they're not going to be really good to be in a relationship with people until they deal with those inner issues they got. Let's go get some clarifiers. Tell us about the Ten of Cups not showing itself. Oh, I was just gonna say there could be some people here who live more from their mind than their heart. They got caught up in the illusion of the world, either about indulgence or their ego or money and materialism and like status and image being the driving factor in their life. And they're more aligned with their worldly nature than their more loving, intuitive nature. King of Swords, Libra energy, because of the Five of Swords. So some people have mental conflict being in relationship with people who harness high vibe Libra energy and are aligned with their loving nature, who do see life from a higher perspective, because it always kind of makes me think of living like in communist China. Some people are very kind of like defensive and also maybe kind of full of themselves, and they want everything to be about them. And if they say something is just and fair, it's just and fair. And if they're in relationship with people who want a more balanced relationship, a just and fair relationship, some people have a problem with that because they're supposed to be the boss at that workplace, in that friend group, in that relationship. And they like everybody to orient around them, like they're the shining star. And if everybody doesn't orient around them like they're the shining star, they don't like that. The scales are always meant to be tipped in their favor. Everybody else is supposed to put aside their pride and ego, but not them. They're the boss. They make the rules. They harness shadowy Libra energy. And if they get in relationships with people in a family, in a friend group, in a relationship, in a marriage, in a workplace, and the other people love and believe in themselves, and they're people who've seen life from a higher perspective, and they're not petty and competitive and manipulative and prideful and egotistical like these people, maybe, and they're also maybe not willing to bother fighting with them. If you've been in a relationship with people like that, you spoke your truth, you tried to encourage them to love and believe in themselves, and eventually it gets to be, you know what, you're right. And I'm going to let you be right. And, we have different dreams about life. I view life differently than you. I'm not going to make you like a god in my life. I listen to a higher truth and a higher justice, and I think you're being bossy and controlling. And I think you're being prideful and egotistical, and you seem to want to win at all costs and not care who gets hurt. So if that's your truth, that's not my truth. I will let you be right. I will not keep trying to encourage you to look at life any differently. You have free will. You can look at life whatever way you want. But I have a different truth and I have a different dream. And that's not the type of people I want to work with or be in a relationship with or a friendship group with. So I will take myself out of the picture. Because high vibe Libra energy of the King of Swords is I will take action to cut things out of my life that aren't aligned with my truth. And just like you might have been realizing that they weren't on the same page as you, they could have also thought, you're not on the same page as me. And both people could have been manifesting becoming single or are doing that right now and being independent of each other because they both defend how they view relationships, how they view the world, how they think people should act, and how they think people should be motivated and inspired in the world. And they might want to be in a relationship with someone who is single, who is maybe defensive, who also might make their life more about keeping up with the Joneses and making their life more about money and materialism or their addictions or indulgence. And you might want to be in a relationship with someone who's more independent in the world, who isn't trying to keep up with all that, who knows their worth and value, who sees life from a higher perspective. And really, in a way, you could look at it as both people taking off their masks, hopefully. The people who are more aligned with whatever it is they're aligned with in the world, which isn't about being just and fair and treating other people the way you want to be treated, they should go get in a relationship with someone where they're not pretending to be something that they're not. Go get in a relationship with someone else who's kind of competitive and prideful and egotistical and self-centered and materialistic and fight it out. Be who you are. If that's how you view feeling powerful within yourself is battling it out with other people, well, then go find someone else to battle it out with. You want to be in relationships with people who aren't wearing a social mask, who don't want to fight and argue or compete with you or want to win at all costs. You want to be in a relationship with people who choose love, who believe in themselves and believe in their dreams. Both people, opposite types of people in the world, could be kind of up in their head about change because we can all have these patterns of being in a relationship with people, and some people are people who are used to enabling people that kind of are stubborn or prideful or have addictions or whatever. We could have grown up with people that are like that, and we're kind of used to being in a relationship with people like that. It's kind of like our comfort zone. Well, and then to think of change and maybe being in a relationship with people who are like us, that could be different because, I really haven't dated anyone like that before, and the other people could have mental conflict because, well, for one, they know that the loving people aren't willing to wear a false mask anymore, and they don't think being in a relationship with them is abundant. And they know that the loving people in their life are authentic and warm and loving, and that those people aren't in their life anymore. And they know those people do believe in their dreams and that they probably do shine pretty bright in the world, at least energetically, because they're not petty and envious and jealous and defensive and self-centered and shallow. They're really loving, giving, and supportive, encouraging people. And some of those people, it's kind of like, if they did go get in a relationship with someone who's more like themselves, they want to defend being the way they are and probably defending other people in their life who are kind of more on the same page as them, but they could be worried about how it's going to turn out when they know they let go of someone who is loving in their life. But What does this Five of Swords have to say? Two of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, and the Devil, because of the Ace of Cups. Some people could have really had some lessons to learn, because either their more worldly nature, greedy nature, lustful nature, immature nature wanted to kind of like offer a cup of love to be in their ego and their more worldly nature emotionally, and invest emotionally in aligning with their more fearful or insecure or prideful, egotistical nature. Because in order to move forward in life, they would have had to offer love to their fears, to their insecurities, to their emotionally defensive nature to free themselves. And some of those people weren't willing to do that. And then, what we align with in our head can be what manifests in our life. And because they were unwilling to align with emotionally growing and maturing themselves and learning lessons in life, we have to humble ourselves to admit, I had lessons to learn. I was kind of immature and impulsive. I was kind of selfish or greedy or prideful or stubborn or whatever. In high vibe, the Queen of Pentacles would be, I did emotionally invest in growing and maturing myself. And the Queen of Wands would be, I'm choosing to be in life-giving energy, to take off my mask, to love myself, to invest emotionally in myself emotionally, to overcome my fears and insecurities and my self-limiting beliefs so I can move forward in the energy of love, let go of my mask, and let go of my more worldly focused nature, thinking it's the things outside of me that make me feel abundant. The truth is, for me to feel abundant in the world, I have to feel abundant within myself. And some people were tempted, because they were aligning with that in their own world, in their own mind, they could have manifested for someone who was single, either maybe a Virgo or a Capricorn, or just someone who they viewed as being more, they wanted to probably be in a relationship with someone who might have the same fears and insecurities that they do, might not love and believe in themselves, who might be more materialistically focused, who would maybe be willing to get in a relationship with this person because of the status and the image and those things. And that could have been who they wanted to have as a marriage partner, and or work with, or have people work for them who don't love and believe in themselves, who don't stand up for themselves, so this person can kind of be bossy and controlling and manipulative with them. Those people could have rejected and had great employees, great people in their life, but they were defensive to those people because of their own ego, because of their own fears, their own insecurities. So those people did leave their life or will be leaving their life, and it could cause them a lot of anxiety because they know they're a little bit more about creating an illusion that they're this certain type of person in the world, but they're not. And that's why people don't want to keep working for them or be in a relationship with them. But they're not setting themselves free, either because of their fear, their insecurity, their ego, their defensiveness. And they just keep repeating this pattern over and over, and they'll keep repeating it. And that's kind of what the devil's about. Really? Is this what you want to manifest? Okay. Everybody has the free will to manifest life whatever the way they want. You want the things of the world. You want to be, it's more important for you to be bossy and controlling and the center of attention, and everybody like defer to you. That's more important than a happy, encouraging, loving workplace or home or friend group. Really? Okay. Well, the loving people are leaving. Is this it? Is this what you wanted? Are you happy now? Did this work out the way you thought? Because the devil talks about short-term victory, which is like the Five of Swords is short-term victory. It was so important for me to win. It was so important for me to prove my point. It was so important for me not to have to try to see things from other people's perspective. I lack hope and faith and belief in people. I lack hope and faith and belief in love. I lack hope and faith and belief that I can change and other people can change. I so was stubborn and prideful and egotistical that people have left my workplace and left my friend group and left my being in relationship with me. It was a shallow victory because that's what aligning with our more worldly, shadowy nature. It tempts us into thinking you don't have to do that work within yourself. You don't have to grow and mature yourself. You don't have to deal with your emotional and confusing feelings. You don't have to grow up and mature yourself or get out of your ego or your fear or your insecurity. It'll all work out, but it's a lie. It's an illusion. The devil comes around because we have lessons to learn about loving and believing in ourselves. And if we want to keep staying in a little bit of hell, we can. We have free will. But I think if any of you were in a workplace or a relationship like that, you saw the truth that some people seem to have a lot of mental conflict about kind of being just and fair. And you did do the work within yourself emotionally to love and believe in yourself, to learn the lessons you're meant to learn from that life experience, to deal with your own inner conflict about change and moving forward in your life or away from that job, friendship, group, relationship. And you're moving forward in the energy of love. You're not going to keep up appearances and wear the mask anymore. Why? Because what other people didn't know about you is that you have that spark within you and motivated to shed some of your fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs, to not want to keep carrying that baggage with you. And some people didn't think you had that within you, probably because they don't have it within them. But you did. What they didn't know about you is that you would do the work to remove the mask and the illusion from your face. Be willing to humble yourself. Maybe lose some things in the world that, a job or a relationship or something that did seem like very successful or abundant or whatever. Because you know that true abundance lies within yourself, and settling for less than what you deserve was just going to create a little hell on earth for you. And I think you're focused on seeing the truth and staying focused on aligning with love. And the other people could be really stressed that other people are going to find out the truth about them, that they are not who they say they are, that they are either fearful and insecure and they sabotage the relationship, that they are kind of prideful and egotistical, that they are kind of wanting other people to kind of like bow down to them instead of treating people again in a just and fair manner. They kind of have to be the boss, and they could be more materialistically driven. So tell us about the Eight of Swords. Seven of Pentacles, because of the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Pentacles talks about, what is my underlying philosophy of life? How do I view the world? How do I view myself? Is it more an ego-based, fear-based? I should be dominating and controlling. I should be able to be indulged. I should be able to stay immature. People should just indulge me. Is that my philosophy of life? Is that what I invest in? And is that the kind of relationship and workplace I want to invest in? Is that what I'm going to defend in my ego? Or am I going to take creative, inspired action to stand up for what I believe in? And I harness high vibe Taurus, high vibe Leo. And it's about being a spiritual leader in the world. I'm going to walk the talk. And if I'm in a workplace or relationship with people who are being prideful and egotistical and bossy and controlling and living more from their mind than their heart, am I going to stand up for myself? Am I going to trust that the divine has a plan for my life? There could be some people right now that are in a relationship like this. One of them could have been someone that had some mental conflict because the relationship they had been in maybe hadn't worked out the way they thought, and they were kind of defensive about investing in someone else. They could have gotten into a relationship with someone, and now the person that they're in a relationship with isn't who they thought they were. But you know how we can kind of get in relationships, and then, maybe not telling everybody our business. And we might have created the illusion that this is my truth, this is what makes me happy, blah, blah, blah. But we're not telling the truth. We're kind of wearing a mask. And we might have done that because at any given point in time in our life, we are where we're at. And we kind of get in relationships with people and they're where they're at. And we hope that everybody will do the work within them and that we can all grow and mature together and everybody face their fears and insecurities to keep the relationship moving forward. There could be some people that, for whatever reason, things they end up getting in a relationship, and some of those people are in that relationship. Some of them could either know that they've been staying in a relationship out of maybe some fear of becoming independent of them, having to stand up for themselves. It just kind of depends on how controlling the person is that they're in a relationship with. They'd have to take action in truth, maybe speak their truth, and some people have a problem with that. But if some people know that they ended up finding themselves in a relationship right now that isn't what they thought it was going to be, and it's really causing them a lot of mental conflict, and they maybe haven't been showing the world that, and we all can stay in jobs and relationships because of attachment to someone being loving and supportive, or a job because it provides a paycheck. And some people could really kind of be in their head about it. They could have been defending a job or relationship they're in, but they're not sure if it seems like it's hurting them, which could be the devil. And if this is the Five of Swords and this is the Eight of Swords, then there's a Three of Swords at play. And kind of realizing, am I hurting and sabotaging myself? Had I maybe not been willing to see the truth before because I didn't want to see the truth, because I was sad, because I was lonely, because I didn't believe in myself, whatever. We've all been there. But there could be someone right now that's really having a lot of mental conflict because they could have gotten themselves in a situation and it's not what they thought it was going to be. And what the people in their life don't know is that they could be doing this work within themselves to work through their issues, to quit, kind of like hiding behind the mask emotionally and doing the work within themselves to realize I don't deserve to keep defending something that, it's kind of like healing from that past pain and heartbreak that initially could have made us get in jobs or relationships, and taking back that because we've done the work. So now the pain and heartbreak or the sadness or the whatever isn't a reason to stay there anymore because we've worked through it. And some people right now are really thinking of investing and standing up for themselves because they've done this work to really think about what my dreams are. And if the people they're in relationship with or at the workplace are willing to do the same work, then they would be willing to keep defending it. But if they're not, it's kind of like, I've done the work within myself. I'm no longer where I was. I have done the inner work. Are you willing to do the inner work or are you not? And if you're not, then we have different dreams in life. And people show us the truth of what they're kind of motivated and inspired by and what they're not. Some people aren't motivated and inspired to do the inner work. it requires that they take a good hard look at themselves, and grow and mature themselves or whatever. Learn some life lessons. Oh, I can't be immature and indulgent anymore. Oh, what? You're not going to let me be bossy and controlling anymore? I kind of liked it when you did. People have to be willing to both defend being on the same page of how they view relationships, and are they going to start walking the talk or aren't they? And there's some people, the other people that could be in the relationship could be really stressed that other people might invest in standing up for themselves, and they won't keep indulging them being bossy or controlling or prideful or egotistical or stubborn or self-centered or whatever. I think people know, if they know they're kind of a fearful, insecure person, and they don't really like treating people, it's kind of to try to emotionally manipulate people to stay in a job or a relationship. They know they're doing that. And I think people who are like that always have a lot of fear that other people are going to love and believe in themselves, and they basically won't put up with their shit anymore. But because they don't ever want to do the work within themselves, then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go find someone else to go get in a relationship with, because the other people saw through my mask and realized that, I'm not being just and fair. I am being bossy and controlling. I am not who I presented myself to be, and they saw through the mask and they're standing up for themselves. And I kind of want to keep living life the way I live it. I don't want to change for some reason. I don't want to do the inner work. I don't want to see what it's kind of like they buy into their own mask of who they say they are and think they are, but they're not that. um, Tell us what's coming up for the people that harness high vibe Aries energy. There could be some people who got out of a relationship. They might have communicated to someone else who's single, and that person could have some mental conflict right now about who they should make an offer to. And you'll also have to listen to your intuition, because you could be this person. There could be some people you could have communicated to, but you could also have other people communicating to you. And everybody has to listen to their intuition and figure out, what's important to them. Am I going to invest in people who I might know are fearful and insecure and codependent because they are going to indulge me in a relationship? Could be what some of them are wondering. Other people might be in a relationship that they know is kind of unhealthy and they're not happy in. But in order to get in a relationship with someone who they might view as very loving and just and fair, that person is not willing to get in a relationship with them if they're in a different relationship, or if they're investing in these more shadowy ways of being. It's like, no, you either have to see life from a higher perspective and speak your truth. And if you think that I would want to be in a relationship with you being prideful and blah, 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 no. Some of those people might know it. And in order to get in a relationship with you, they know they need to do this work within themselves. And some of them could be doing it right now and doing the work within themselves to grow and mature themselves. Other people are like, oh shit, I'm either in a relationship that I'm kind of codependent on that might not be that healthy, but I have anxiety about speaking my truth and standing up for myself. And they know the loving people are going to keep moving forward, and that they could be very loving and abundant and nurturing. And they know that, someone's going to want to be in a relationship with them. And eventually, they're just going to have enjoy their life basically with whoever they enjoy their life with. And they won't be a part of it if they keep defending their more worldly or egoic or emotionally defensive or materialistic way of life. Sometimes it's a standoff, just like we have a dualistic nature and we live in a dualistic world, and other people are more tipped in one side or the other of themselves. And some people You could even have, yeah, negative energy always tries to stop loving energy. Your own shadow nature tries to cause you mental conflict to get you to indulge more in your ego and your more materialistic nature, because then your like more worldly, shadowy nature gets to be in the driver's seat of your life, and your loving, hopeful, believing in your dreams nature gets like put in the trunk of your vehicle that you drive. It's kind of like your life, you know? And some people have done that, but some people would like to be in a relationship with someone like you, but they know you take action in truth and love, and they can't like manipulate you or control you or tempt you in your lust or greed or your fear or your past pain and heartbreak because you're not in it. It's like if you want to be in a relationship with me, you gotta come correct, you know? You got to work through all your mental issues and what is your dream? What's most important to you? If it's not loving and believing in yourself and knowing your worth and value and speaking your truth and standing up for what you believe in to get your divine inheritance, then we're not on the same page. Because I'm invested in standing up for myself. I've gotten out of my ego. I'm not in a competitive energy to, gonna fight for someone who isn't on the same page. If you're not on the same page, I wish you peace. Tell us, well, since I didn't ask, you saw it, I didn't see it. What's coming up for the people that harness high vibe Aries energy in their life right now? The Seven of Cups, the High Priestess, the Page of Pentacles, the Strength card, and the Seven of Cups again. I have two of these small decks combined, and the reason is because of the Six of Cups. The high vibe people are going to maintain balance within themselves so they don't tip in their fear or their insecurity. They're more emotionally defensive, prideful, egotistical, immature, indulgent nature. They're going to love themselves. They're going to offer love and compassion to all those things that bubble up within them so that they don't get caught up in the illusion of someone being different than they are. They're going to listen to their intuition. Because again, as you are moving forward, you're going to have other people that you're going to meet in your life. Some might be from your past that communicate with you. Some of them might be as you're moving forward that they come up in your life. And you're going to listen to your intuition about people. Are they this in shadow? The Six of Cups can be people who are kind of immature and keep repeating these same old patterns of relationship, and you want to listen to your intuition about people who have illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. It's like, so what's your idea of a relationship? It's like, oh, where I invest in people, I'm operating from my ego and I have these illusions about what it is to be in a relationship. You're supposed to want to work with me. It's like, no. And then there's other people who have hope and faith and belief in their dreams. They want to be in deep, meaningful relationships, not like emotionally shallow, superficial relationships. And people who invest in having that hopeful, believing nature, and they temper their fear, their insecurity, their pride, their ego, their emotionally defensive nature to bring their dreams into reality and get in relationships with other people who view life that way. Regardless of what other people where other people are or are not, you're going to maintain balance within yourself, believing in your dreams, listening to your intuition, looking to the future, willing to be a student of life, willing to invest in starting new, starting fresh. You're invested in tempering your egoic nature and tempering your fears and your insecurities because you want your dreams to come into reality. And those are the type of people you want to move forward with. And the other people who think, oh, can't I live in illusion and hide that I like to repeat patterns of the past? Once you come get in a relationship and be in the illusion with me and repeat this type of relationship with me, it's like, I've already been there and done that. I have a new dream. But you can stay back there and try to find someone else to get in a relationship with you that might not have learned those lessons. I have tempered my fears, my insecurities, my more immature, impulsive, lustful, greedy nature. And I'm believing in my dreams, and I'm not settling for less from someone who's immature that doesn't have that youthful, hopeful, believing nature. What about the people who are in shadowy Aries energy right now, or more worldly focused Aries energy? Which shadowy. Oh, wait. this isn't Aries. Why did I get caught up in Aries? Well, it's kind of interesting because Aries and Libra are on opposite signs of the zodiac sign. And if you are a Libra, you could be someone, instead of being aligned with your more balanced nature, you could be kind of experiencing and exploring life from your more Aries nature. And it is to maybe learn, some people are learning lessons about what it means to be more about themselves, their wants, their needs, their lusts, their greed, their pride, their ego. But if they're in shadowy energy, it could be causing them a lot of mental conflict because they were, instead of wanting to be more just and fair, they could have been more about, I want to go indulge in these things in the world. I want to indulge in my ego. I want to indulge in materialism. I want to indulge in just indulging in the world. And it can be causing them some mental conflict because there's choices to our actions. And some other people who might have lived too much from their mind instead of their heart, it's like trying to find that balance where if some people were rejecting, you know, kind of exploring life from, because our opposite zodiac sign is something we need to come to terms with because we want to really be in the middle so that we can easily use those different aspects of ourselves. Some people were living too much from their mind and they were rejecting their Aries energy. Even though Aries energy really isn't, I don't see any of these particular cards as being Aries energy itself, but anytime there's a fire energy, that could be Aries, like the Strength card, the Seven of Wands, the Queen of Wands. So there could be some people who live so much from their mind. I am not going to do love. I could get hurt that way. That is not logical and practical. Life is about looking like a shining star in the world. My long-term goal is about money and materialism. And if I'm going to invest more in my egoic materialistic nature, I'm going to emotionally invest in other people who might have that want for those same things too. Those people are learning some lessons about being too tipped out of balance into their Libra nature instead of finding balance between their Libra nature and their Aries nature. Because the whole thing is, I kind of look at the zodiac as these can be all the 12 zodiac signs, and we're in the middle. We have our emotional nature, we have our worldly nature, we have our mind and our thoughts and our creativity, we have our passionate, creative nature. The thing is, for us to be, we have the pages, the knights, the kings, the queens, the emperor, the empress, the hierophant, the high priestess. The goal is that we go learn these lessons in life. Like, ooh, yeah, I got to quit living life just from my heart. Ooh, I got to quit living my life too much from my mind. Ooh, I got to quit living my life in my more impulsive or passionate nature. Because if we do that, it can kind of run our life off into the ditch. The goal is to go out and learn the lesson we were meant to learn. Like the devil showed up and it's like, ooh, this isn't healthy. Oh, this isn't what I thought it was. And we learn a lesson. We learn to kind of come back to center. And then we learn how to master all the elements of self. And then we can be like a true leader in our life. Some people right now might, some people have learned those lessons. Some people haven't learned those lessons. Some people are living more from their mind than their heart. They keep defending their more worldly nature. They do have the illusion because they haven't learned the lesson that isn't what brings you true abundance in life. It's loving and believing in yourself and being loving relationships that make you feel truly abundant, but they haven't learned that lesson yet. So they're going to go off and learn that lesson. And the people who have learned that lesson, who learn to love and believe in themselves, those people are distancing themselves from people in their life who haven't learned that lesson, and they're standing up for themselves. And they've dealt with their past pain and heartbreak of having dealt with people in their life that they could have loved, could have wanted to have a dream come into reality, but we just have to accept that people are where they're at and us not live an illusion and see the truth that people show us every day with their free will choices in life and what they're currently motivated and inspired by, what currently drives them, even if that we didn't think that is what kind of drove them. But sometimes we don't really know until certain things come up where people really have to make that decision. What is my truth? And sometimes we don't even know it ourselves, you know? And the people who did deal with people like that, those people, and have learned those lessons, those people are listening to their intuition. And as they're doing work within themselves to love and believe in themselves and heal from the past and reconcile themselves with the past and to be bold and brave and be willing to start fresh and new and move forward in a different way, they're also going to be making offers to other people in the world because they're not going to keep investing their time, energy, and effort and hugs and kisses into people who do keep repeating those old patterns secretly or not. And they want to invest in people who are kind of on the same page as them. So I think people are taking action right now. They're standing up for themselves. Everybody's defending what their truth is. And we can either be in denial of what some people's truth is, but the truth sets us free. And if we offer love to ourselves emotionally to know our worth and value, and see life from a higher perspective and believe that the divine didn't expect us to stay in jobs and relationships and friendships with people who are hurtful, unkind, unhealthy, bossy, controlling, manipulative, self-centered, then we can free ourselves. And it's to focus on love, to keep taking creative, inspired action and letting our intuition guide us. So there you go, Libra. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.